Take a seat. It's okay. It's okay. Take a seat. So, okay. Where is you? Here we go. Okay. Okay. My name's Jeremiah. What's your name? You can tell me your name. It's okay. Alright. This is your first time to therapy. Yeah? You don't want to be here? Okay. Well, it says here, this is court ordered, that you were involved in an altercation. Is that true? It was their fault. Okay. Well, I'm sure that whenever two parties have a conflict, that there is culpability on both parties. I don't doubt that at all. But you don't think you acted inappropriately at all? Okay. All right, well, we'll look at that. So, you were court ordered to see me for the next 4 weeks. Do, what is this, 200 hours of community service? Is that correct? Yes? Okay. And by completing this, you will avoid probation and or possibly jail time. Well, I hope you would agree that this is better than prison. Yes? Okay. Alright. Well, I don't need this for a moment. Now, go ahead and put your feet flat on the ground in front of me, please. Okay. Alright, can you look at me? Okay. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm not here to, I'm not a shrink. I'm not here to manipulate you. I'm not even here to change you, if I'm being honest. No, I don't think I can. I don't believe I can change you. That would be quite the complex if I did. Yeah, be a bit of an ego trip for me if I was like, I knew that I could, wave a pocket watch back and forth and tell you to look into my eyes and, manipulate you. I have no desire to do that. I just want to hear you talk, hear your side of things, and ask why. That's why I got into psychology. I've always been, deeply fascinated with why people behave the way they do. And my study of psychology has shown me that humans are weirdly predictable, right? Again, did you say you've never done therapy? Never? And you don't want to be here? Okay, that's fine. Hey, No, I don't think everybody needs therapy. I don't think anybody needs much. I think it's the wrong way to look at it, Like saying you need something implies there's something missing in you or there's something wrong with you. And I don't think therapy can fix anybody. It's just a tool. But ultimately, you're the only one who has any power over you. You're the only one who has any agency over your own life. Hopefully, you'll get some value out of our session today. and we'll see if we'll go from there. So, for today, we're not trying to achieve anything. All I'm going to do is listen, and we're going to talk. Yeah, that's 95% of therapy. Maybe more. I don't know. It's okay. So again, where were we? Let's put our feet flat on the ground together, okay? And I always like to start a session by getting grounded, okay? So, feel your feet on the floor, right? Go and give your toes a little wiggle for me, okay? And if you like, you can close your eyes. Take a nice calming breath. Get present. Yeah. Even though your mind may be spinning with who knows what thoughts might be spinning through our minds at any time. But for right now, I invite you to sit here with me. Relax. Nobody's gonna hurt you. I truly want to see you happy, whole, complete. Yeah, that's it. So, take a moment with me. Notice the room. Notice how the room may smell, any fragrances you may be picking up. Notice the temperature in here. Okay. Notice the way it looks. Just notice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Look at me. Okay. And shall we begin? Well, we already have, but I think you know what I mean. Okay. So, anything you say in here is completely confidential. I am not allowed to discuss or share any of this. This is all private information, okay? That's right. Like attorney-client privilege, doctor-patient privilege is very important. And we can just get to know each other. Yeah. Well, I'm going to start by asking, what's your relationship like with your mom and dad? Why? Fair question. The reason in psychology that we so often talk about our parents, is because they are the first model of a relationship that anybody ever learns. Doesn't matter where you're from, what culture, what country. Our parents are the first relationship that we have. They're the first people we love. They're the first people to love us. And inevitably, necessarily through no fault of their own, all parents will at some point in time emotionally hurt their children. It's not a maybe. It's not, well, maybe mine won't. It's an is. It's simply part of being a human. Because our child brains don't have the ability to grasp the complexities of what our parents are going through. And for most people have never done therapy. They've never really taken an introspective look at themselves and asked themselves hard, challenging questions. Fair? And so when it comes to parenting, for thousands of years, humankind has just been winging it. I mean, until really recently, if you weren't a parent by the time you were 20 or 25 at like the latest, that was considered like that was considered crazy. If you weren't married and pregnant by the time you were 18, 19 at the outset, it was the clock was ticking. And of course, when you get older, especially when you get into your 40s or 50s, you will inevitably look back on people in their teens and even mid and late 20s as being so young. So young. And it's weird to realize that for most of human history, it's children raising children. It's kids having kids and doing the best they can with the tools they have. And I guarantee you, your parents did the best they could with the tools they had. Yeah. And as my parents like to tell me when I was a young man, don't worry, Jeremiah. Your mother and I always wanted to make sure we damaged you enough so that you would never avoid the joys of therapy. It's a joke, but it's true. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. Because, unfortunately, as I was saying a little earlier, the child mind starts making decisions. Can I tell you a little story about mine? Maybe this will help. I don't know. You mind if I share a story? Okay. This took quite a bit of digging and rooting around for me to remember this and really pinpoint this event. But we were traveling across country, my family, and I have an older brother. Mom, dad, road trip, Ohio all the way to California, back to Ohio. And we were stopped somewhere in Texas, maybe Arizona, I don't know. I was like 5. And my dad pulls over and he sees a hole in the rock in the distance. Looks like an old mine, some kind of a cave. And he wants to get out and go explore it. Ooh, what 5-year-old does not want to explore a cave, right? So of course I wanted to come, but my dad said, well, Maya, it might be too dangerous, you might make noise, something could, the vibrations could cause a collapse, and I'm just going to take your brother. And so my brother and he wander off while I was not stuck, but I stayed with my mom. Now, I could have said, hey guys, I want to come. Please, I'm going to be fine. Let me come join you. But my 5-year-old brain, instead of being rational or stating my wants, made that mean that my dad did not love me as much as my brother. That's what I made it mean. Hey, 5-year-old logic. And that haunted me for years years and years and years, I wanted to tell that, I wish I could tell that poor kid that, don't worry, your dad loves you. He doesn't love your brother more than you. I wish I could go back and say that to young Jeremiah. And I even had my own breakthrough in therapy recently. I was working with another therapist, and she focuses on cranial sacral therapy, which is it's a combination of massage, meditation, and therapy. And we were exploring this exact issue. And I had a bit of a breakthrough when I realized, at that point in time, all I wanted was to say to my dad, I'll be a good boy. I promise, Dad, I won't disappoint you. I won't let you down. I'll be a good boy. And I was quite emotional in my session, thinking about that. And that led to forming my future personality for years to come. And I still deal with it. I still deal with feeling like I'm not enough. It's true. I still deal with feeling like I'm a burden, that I'm wasting people's time, that that I want to be a good boy. And the thing is that it also really comes down to something that's so fundamentally rooted in our world, which is trust. Trusting others, being trusted. And in that moment, I didn't feel trusted. Like I was untrustworthy, right? I couldn't go with the big kids. I couldn't go with my dad and brother. I was untrustworthy. And that's what I made that mean. Was it true? No. But 5-year-old Jeremiah made it mean that. And what are you gonna do? So we always start with our primary relationship in therapy, in psychology. What's your relationship like with your parents? And some people don't have parents, of course. Tragedy happens. Sometimes people are raised by grandparents, aunts and uncles. Life happens. But your core initial foundational relationships they'll shape who you are, for better, for worse. And if you find yourself really, really not wanting to talk about a specific person or event, my experience tells me that's exactly the one thing most important to talk about. Yeah. The thing we least want, the conversations that we least want to have, through a cruel twist of fate in our own psychology, those are the most important conversations to have. As we say, what we resist persists. Yeah. What we resist persists. Now, you may not be quite ready to talk about your parents with me yet. It's totally fine. You may never want to talk about your parents with me. That's totally fine. Would you like to talk about the incident and why you got so angry. So why do you think you got so angry? It felt unfair. Yeah, you felt like they started it, right? Mm-hmm. Completely. I don't know, maybe they did. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. And it doesn't matter. Because the end result was the physical assault. And once we cross that magical boundary in society of a physical assault, we take that stuff very seriously. So, that's why, the old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. I mean, there's some truth in that, although words can be very painful. But the thing is that when you cross the barrier into a physical confrontation, that's when the law gets involved. Police, courts, here you are. And as we all know, it is rarely the instigator who gets caught, isn't it? It's always the retaliator. It's true in sports. It's true in life. Okay. So, you said you felt rage. Yeah. Felt rage. You felt made the fool, like you were being made a fool of. Yep. Very common. Totally. You felt that you were provoked into the confrontation. You felt like you were being provoked. Yeah. You probably were. I don't know. I was not there. And even if you were provoked, you're still here with me. Okay? For the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, what are we saying? Yeah. You're here with me. And I simply would like to show you tools and tricks for dealing with that and learning how to let go. Because it's true that, our first relationships are our parents. It is also true that everyone in life, look at me, everyone is constantly trying to look good and avoid looking bad. And we humans, we will go to crazy lengths to avoid looking bad. Like, it's crazy what people will do to avoid looking bad. Yeah. No, I'm guilty of it too. We all are. I'm less guilty of it now the older I get. But I can still be triggered. I'm not some perfect person that never gets annoyed or frustrated with others. And the constant practice, though, of letting it go, and taking responsibility for my actions. Because there's one thing that I have control over, and that you have control over. It's your actions. And yeah, reactions are still actions. And yes, you have control. It's very important to take that kind of agency with yourself, to not be a victim, because when you came in here, you sat down and you said, well, it wasn't your fault. Well, you're the one that got in the fight. You can say it's their fault. Was it pure self-defense? Like, did they just walk up and start hitting you? No. No, you knew them, right? Yeah, a little history. Sure, things were said by both parties, am I wrong? And while they may have been the one to push it too far, ultimately, you took the bait. And here we are. So, you have agency over yourself and your actions. You are not a victim. Listen. Even when we are being victimized, which happens, I wish it was useful to claim victimhood in life. I wish. Unfortunately, I don't recommend going down that path. I recommend that all of the happiest people I know, the most grounded, the most successful humans that I know, take full responsibility over their lives. Even when they're right, they can just let it go. Think I'm crazy? Well, we can go more into this in another session. We can talk about trust and building trust, losing trust. Okay? But I think this is a good start. So I thank you for coming and joining me today. Alright? And I'm going to see you next week. So does this time work for you? Okay, good. And we'll just continue our conversation. Maybe you'll tell me some more about your folks. Okay. Have a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing you again.